Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you for taking your own time out to check out this review, where today we're talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I believe is the final movie or project in MCU's Phase 4, and this is once again directed and written by Ryan Coogler, who did the first Black Panther movie. Now, of course, going into this, I think we're all kind of curious, okay, well, how they're going to address the death of Chadwick Boseman in real life and him as King T'Challa in Black Panther. And I think it's fair to say that they do a pretty good job of honouring his legacy. Before we get into that though, let me tell you a little bit about who we've got in the cast of this movie. We've got Letitia Wright back as Shuri, we've got Angela Bassett as Queen Ramonda, Lupita Nyong'o, Danai Gurira, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Dominique Thorne as Ironheart, and Tenoch Mejía. And the plot of Black Panther Wakanda Forever is all around Queen Ramonda, Shuri, M'Baku and others essentially trying to protect the kingdom of Wakanda in the wake of King T'Challa's death. So I was curious going into this movie. I was wondering, okay, well, how are they going to live up to the hype that they've built up for this movie with the trailers and, of course, the reputation of the first movie being a $1.3 billion movie making money, I believe. I think it took that much anyway, I might be wrong. So I was intrigued into which direction they would go with this, and I don't believe that Kendrick Lamar returns for the music or the soundtrack in this movie. I know that we have an end song by Rihanna. Yeah, we have that. But anyway, what was my overall thoughts of this movie? Well, I can say I enjoyed it. I can definitely say it's definitely the best Marvel movie they've put out this year. I think it's a good movie overall, but I can't really say it was an outstanding movie. So let me get into why. Firstly, let's get into the positives. Acting all around, solid here. This is definitely a Letitia Wright and Angela Bassett movie as Queen Ramonda and Shuri. Firstly, Angela Bassett, wow. Performance of the MCU in general in terms of the Black Panther movies, besides obviously Chadwick, yeah. Angela Bassett was fantastic in this movie, especially some dialogue scenes here where she's got to really play into the emotional parts. Knocked it out of the water. Loved her performance. I also think Letitia Wright, it's nice to see that her getting the spotlight a little bit more in this movie and becoming kind of the main focus, which you'd kind of expect, but it was nice to see her step into that role, given that responsibility, and I think for the most part she pretty much delivers on that responsibility that she's given. It's kind of nice that they expand on Wakanda, and the cinematography here definitely just expands on the beautiful nature and the landscapes of Wakanda and what we've come to see, and furthermore, what more we actually get to see of that and the world of this kingdom. I was engrossed in those scenes and I was like, wow, this is just a shot of beauty. And I was saying that to myself quite a few times when watching this movie. Yeah, cinematography all around awesome. The music and the score and soundtrack that they have playing throughout this movie is also pretty good. There's definitely some very interesting choices in the sound design, which I actually really liked and I think that fit this movie. Not every single one of those did, in my personal opinion, but some of them definitely did, and I like that they kind of paid homage to the Black Panther music that we kind of got to know in the first movie. The tribute that they have for Chadwick Boseman and King T'Challa I think is done really well, especially the opening 10-15 minutes in this movie. I was nearly actually in tears when it got to the Marvel logo at the end of that logo. Yeah. Wow, what a great opening 10-15 minutes in this movie. The action here is also pretty good, and this underwater world empire that we get of Namar's character, wow, that underwater sequence was fantastic. Loved it, and I love that kingdom and the explanation that we do get of that. I was just kind of baffled by how beautiful it was and how well that come across, of putting across that this underwater kingdom is just kind of a sight to behold, and I will definitely agree. It definitely was. Now, in terms of my negatives, in terms of where I think this movie's let down a little bit for me and kind of where I'm like in the middle on this movie is, firstly, the CG here in some action sequences is bad. I'm telling you guys, it is bad. It was kind of like, I've seen to a couple of my YouTube friends, like PS3 kind of graphics cutscene bad. Yeah, it took me out of the movie, unfortunately, and unfortunately in those scenes where things happen, I'm not going to say it for spoilers, it really took me out of those scenes, so I couldn't get involved in them, and I was supposed to be, as an audience member, really engulfed in that scene, and I was like, no, this is pretty bad. It definitely needed a gloss over. I also think there's a couple of characters in here, like Martin Freeman's character doesn't need to be in here. Ironheart, Dominique and Thorne does an okay job for what she's given. Nothing against the actress, but I didn't like the character of Ironheart either, so I don't think that really needed to be in here. I think it just mainly is set up for the TV series, which have already announced, which is not spoiled, they've already announced it. So yeah, definitely didn't need to be involved in here whatsoever. And I would have honestly liked this movie to be more emotionally heavy on Chadwick Boseman personally. The first opening act does that in such a spectacular fashion. By the end, when we get to the end final act, I kind of felt like that beginning emotion had kind of gone. And I get the whole movie's not about being like, oh, you know, King and Charlotte this, King and Charlotte that. Obviously, they've got to try advance the story, obviously, that he's passed and set 1 year later when he does pass. But I feel like the emotional beat kind of did die off a little bit when it gets to the end. I didn't feel it as much as I did in that first 10-15 minutes, which I would have liked to have felt that a little bit more. So, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, overall good movie. I enjoyed it. Can I say that it's a one that I'm going to like rewatch so many more times? No, I would rewatch it, but not anytime soon. So my overall score for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a 3 out of 5 stars. So have you seen this movie? Are you going to go check it out? Leave any and all comments down below so we can continue the discussion down there. If you've enjoyed the review, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And are you aware that I also have a Patreon? Yeah, for only £2 per month, you get access to so much content, which you can find in the link down below in the description box, which tells you about everything that you get and some big announcements coming very, very soon, which I've just done one very recently. And I also want to take this special moment to give a special thank you to all my awesome Patreons who help also support the channel. But thank you for tuning into this video, and until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.